So we talked a little bit about definitions. We talked a little bit about how social media strategies can be formulated and things that you can look at. Right now, we want to talk a little bit about the tools. You hear a lot of this, and when you talk about social media, usually that's what you hear about: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. But really, they're just tools, and there are a lot of them. What I'm trying to do here is to help you understand that mainly those tools fall into four main categories, no matter what they are. They are social communities, media sharing, blogging, and social bookmarking. I'm going to go through social communities in some detail, and then I'm going to fly through the rest of the three. Basically, social communities is basically groups of like-minded individuals connected by interactions. And some of the websites that actually promote these social communities include things like Facebook, MySpace, and LinkedIn. And you hear a lot about it. But basically, they're just websites that try to group like-minded people together because they have similar interests. Taking a look at Facebook. Facebook is the heavy hitter of the social media, simply because they have the greatest number of unique monthly visitors. At last count, they have 70.28 million monthly unique visitors a month. They are definitely the biggest today. They claim to have 250 million active users. Most of their user age demographic tend to fall between 35 to 54. And what's more important to businesses is the fact that you can create business pages on Facebook. And also there's also advertising opportunities on Facebook, which then the business pages will then allow companies to communicate with the people and provide interaction between company to people. Here's an example of a Facebook product page by Jeep. I would say that Jeep is not one of our clients, but we just love their work because they obviously put a lot of effort into it. Jeep's Facebook, as you can tell, is very well populated. They obviously have put in quite a bit of effort in trying to get a fan base. They have almost close to 200,000 fans, and this screenshot, by the way, is captured yesterday. If you look at the top, you'll notice that Jeep also allows certain media to be added as part of their product page, which includes information, discussions, which is basically the forums, photos, YouTube, and video. They have a wall. A wall is basically a comment section that allows people to post their comments about the product on the Jeep's website. As you can tell, the people have been posting videos as well as pictures of their Jeep. And here's a quick example of the discussion page of how the discussion works. People just post it, and obviously for Jeep there is a moderator that tries to control the messaging. Again, all this is done to, like I said earlier, as part of the goal is to influence people about the perception about Jeep, the brand. Let's talk a little bit about MySpace. MySpace is definitely the close second. They have about 70.26 million monthly unique visitors, and they claim to have 265 million users. But the difference for MySpace is the age demographic. You'll notice that the bulk of the users are between 0 to 17, or what we call the tweens. And obviously, there's a huge group between 45 to 54, which we can pretty much assume are the parents. And obviously, MySpace is targeted to a whole different audience. As far as business is concerned, we've been using MySpace for forums, again, for wall postings similar to Facebook, as well as advertising opportunities. And because they're targeted to tweens, there's a huge focus on music. Again, taking Jeep as an example, I'm not saying that they're the only ones around. You can see this is an example of Jeep's MySpace page. As you can tell, that there are several things you can do on it as well, including downloading the desktops. There's chat that they do online at MySpace too. So next, let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, even though it's not one of the larger social networking websites, it's definitely one that's important to businesses because it's catered for professional to professional networking. It has about 7 million monthly unique visitors a month. and they claim to have 43 million active user accounts. Again, because of what it does, the age demographic tend to lie between 35 to 54 years, all people who are working. Here's an example of LinkedIn search page. The reason why I wanted to point this out is because it does have a very well-defined advanced search, which is great if you want to find, let's say, if you want to prospect a certain company or prospect everybody in a certain, let's say, in a marketing, because it really does help you, prospect people and location. So, for example, this could be used, for example, if you are doing a trade show in a particular area and you're trying to prospect certain industries that may or may not be around the area. And here's an example of a group that we created for Carbon TradeEx. One of the things that you can do in LinkedIn is actually create groups and then invite people to join in the group. And basically, that group allows you to communicate with everybody in LinkedIn who are interested in your product or services of your company. Now, all the three websites that are shown here are primarily very U.S.-based, but just notice that there are also lots of other websites which are very popular worldwide, High Five being one of them. Sing.com, for example, is a LinkedIn competitor, and they're really big in Europe and China. Orkut is for lack of better example, a Facebook competitor. They're really big in Brazil and South America. And Friendster is also big in Southeast Asia, for example. So just realize that depending on the audience you want to attract, you will have to find the appropriate social media tools and websites to promote it.